Last season we finished in 8th place as we secured our second ever top half finish of the save in the Polish top flight. This season we were expected to finish in 16th place, and it's the first time I can really remember that there's been 2 teams below us in the predictions in the preseason preview on the 27th of June. That could change when things get forward. Sponsorship wise, we're the 13th highest sponsorship income. The Tycoon-owned Slask is getting 8 million per year for the sponsorship, so that's an uphill battle. We've got a fight now, which is not ideal. And in other news, we've got the 12th biggest stadium, and it makes the fact that Slask have got the 42,000-seater stadium before Tycoon takeover even happened all the more remarkable, and it's something we need to fight at some point, given how many teams have got bigger stadiums than us, and potentially own their stadium. Dynamics, we have just one player unhappy. That's because I fined him. Matthias Nowak is still unhappy with the fact I fined him. He's only 18. He's got room to grow, both in the mentals, the technicals and physicals, and in personality. The hierarchy now looks like this, and we've got a lot of players who don't have a role, but there's also a lot of players that generally are in a good spirit. So hopefully we can work around with that, and we can make sure every player that we are using at some point in the first team can benefit from mentoring or one reason or another. Most of these players also support me. Only troll players don't support me, but they also are not terrible. Since we last met, we've also brought in 3 members of staff. Norbert Müller is the first of these people. He is a performance analyst, and he was better than what we had already, which isn't a good sign when someone whose average is better than what we had. We also brought in a new physio in Leonard Bartling. He's quite good. He's almost perfect, but he's not. He's only 2 attributes away from that. But either way, a good physio to bring in. The last person was Mika Müller, who is a perfect physio and is working with the under-19. So, very happy days. The 3 people we brought in since we last met in the staff roles. Financially, we've now got 3.2 million in the bank, and it's getting better and better. We are expected to lose quite a bit of money, but that's fine. Our youth facilities got downgraded to average over the summer, but we've already convinced the board to actually work on these and to improve the youth facilities. That'll be done in 5 months. Hopefully, that is just not a one-off thing, and we can do more and more. The fact we've had pretty much everything we wanted agreed upon is a good sign, and I'm hoping that will continue. We could also improve the training facilities, but I actually don't want to splash all the money right now, especially when the youth setup costs as much as it does. Still, it says a lot how much it costs us so far per year. We still got AEK Athens as our senior affiliate. I'm not going to touch that right now, mostly because I don't think we'll be losing any player right now, if I'm completely honest with you to them. And having this team in the 3rd tier of Polish football is a good place to send players to, if we need to have players get some actual intake and to get some experience in the first team at some point in the future. Staff-wise, we've now actually got the best coaching staff effectively in the coaching, apart from one thing, and that is the tactical coaching. We're second best. So quite frankly, as far as I'm concerned, we have the best. We haven't got the best recruitment or medical staff team, but that's fine, we can work on that. We've got quite a few players who are considered promising and are considered first team candidates now. And it's a good sign that we can say that, though some of the players will probably never actually make it in the first team. It's just a shame that we have so many players that honestly could be very exciting. 2 of them being promising players is already a good sign. So goalkeeping wise, we got 5 players that I want to cover. We already know at least 3 of them, though the other 2 we may not have covered yet. Powell is wanted right now by a team in our division, PS, who I don't think will be able to get him. He is considered good enough to be a decent player for this division. Whether or not he'll get any better, I don't think is the case, but he's also 25. He could get better. We just got to hope he does actually improve. Furman, I haven't really played, if I'm completely honest with you. I think last year was the first time I really gave him some run of the first team. The fact he's got an average rating of over 7 in those games is actually annoying me, because I could have used him before, but he's also 26. He's not going to get any better, and we might need to move him on after the season. I got Butnick as a player that I still wish could actually develop. He can develop. I don't think he'll get much better, but the fact he's also inconsistent is a problem. But still, Camille is the next goalkeeper on the list. He's unambitious, but he's still improving. And as far as I'm concerned, if he's improving, that's a good sign. he isn't the one I'm most excited about though, even if he is 6'4". Kawalski is the person I'm really excited about, and he has the damaged kneecap. He's out for 55 weeks. He's 6 foot, has 4 jumping reach, has 4 aerial reach, and maybe, just maybe, he needs work. But he's light-hearted, he's not terrible, and he has potential to be really, really good. Issue is he's inconsistent, and again, major concern, but I'm hoping that can be adjusted in the future. So the right back position is just 4 players effectively at this point, one of which isn't going to get in the first team anytime soon, but it's fine. Midfield is still the first choice right back. He is potentially the best player in the team and has the resolute personality, and he's our captain. He doesn't like big matches though, which is a concern, but we can still work around that. He's been the #1 man in the right back position. He's been #1 man in the right back position. He's been the #1 man. He's been the #1 man in the right back position, despite the fact his average ratings have been absolutely terrible at times. So, problems. But still, Marcin is the player that I'm hoping will take his spot. He is a fairly professional player still. He isn't professional, but he's still not terrible. He's played 83 times since he arrived in the scene a few years ago. And, yeah, average ratings don't really point a really nice picture, but he's had a lot of bench appearances, so maybe that's the reason for it, but hopefully one day he will actually get better. But still, Marcin, okay, is another player that could do it, even if he's inconsistent. Yeah, we got this problem a lot, don't we? Inconsistent players. He can play a lot down the wings as well. He did initially arrive as a right wing back, but I've trained to be a right back as well who can play the wing back position. So he's not terrible. He's actually quite good. He's attacking fullback, so he'll definitely go up and down the line. He can play both sides if he wanted him to. But yeah, average rating, again, not amazing. And again, has come on from the bench a lot. So bench appearances, not ideal. Still, Pietrogenic is the last player. He's inconsistent and is very, very inconsistent, actually. He's unambitious and has low determination. So probably someone I won't use. Left back position, a bit more difficult to really discuss, but we've still got young talent here. And Marcel is the one of them, and he's wanted. So who wants you? Leganes of... Oh. Yeah, Leganes wants this guy. I won't let him go. He's got 4 years left in his deal right now. Does he have a release clause? Yes, a relegation release clause, but that's fine, because we're not going to get relegated. We are going to be fine, though. This guy will stay with us long term. And while he's not a fan of big matches, he's very consistent and is a good player for his division. So really, the kid is exciting to say the least. Norbert Sostek, I don't think I'm going to really use. He's not got the potential I'm looking for, and is probably going to be a second tier player at best. He's just not got what I want, really. But still, we've got Jacob Wozniak, who I have been using every now and again. He's a bit weak. He's got 5 strength. He's a bit unambitious, which I'm trying to work around. But he has made some appearances for the team, has improved slightly, and hopefully will get better. The fact he's inconsistent isn't ideal, but he is wanted for whatever reason. The fact he's got a better average rating here, despite coming from the bench a lot, is a good sign. Who wants him? It's our affiliate on loan. Might be a loan spell for him this year, actually. He does turn 18 in January, so maybe we could do that. This guy, I'm probably going to slay as a centre-back. So, yeah, 6'7" centre-back. I don't know why he's listed the left-back. I know he can play there, but I don't see left-back in this guy's future. I really don't. Speaking of centre-backs, though, we've got quite a few of them. Some of which are not going to be here that long-term, but we're going to talk about anyway. Jorky is still our best centre-back right now. He is considered very consistent, loved by the fans. He's a decent player for the top flight. So he is a player that will definitely be playing for us still. Centre-back first and foremost. He just has everything I want, and he was the best player we had. So the fact he's a decent player for this division is a good sign. The fact we are still using this guy is probably a concern, but I don't think he'll be in the first team much longer. Sorek is definitely going to be out of the first team after this year, and I think this will be his last season in the club. I just don't see him being first choice much longer. I think he's already been faded out of the team effectively at some point in this season. I've been starting to drop him to the bench more often than not, and his average rating shows you why I've been dropping him a little bit, honestly. He's got a mistake in him, and I'm not a fan of it. So Bogdan could use him, but he hates big matches. He is consistent, but he's not going to get much better. So might be time to sell him. I could send him on loan to my affiliate, which actually could be a good thing, think about it. The person I have started throwing in the first team is actually a 6'7" defender. So YAC is one of those players that I think is going to be really good. But Midfield is really good, and I'm happy with the guy we have at our disposal. He is getting better. I have thrown him in the first team a little bit. He did play quite a bit last year, 21 times in fact, and he actually started 18 times. He got 2 goals. Yes, the average rating is not amazing, but he's also only 17. I am putting a lot of faith in this kid, and he is consistent. He's only a 3rd tier player playing the first flight, in the top flight. I think you can see what the problem is. Also, my affiliate wants a lot of my players on loan, I just realised. Some more centre-backs to talk about. This guy's inconsistent though, and fickle, but he's got potential, so hopefully he'll be better. He's also 6'1", so maybe he could do well. And Rafael could do better. If only there was not as many cons about this guy as I'm seeing right now. We do have this guy though, but he's casual personality. We need to work on that immediately. Let's get that sorted out in a bit. No, your eyes are not deceiving you. This guy literally has the same last and first name as the other guy I just showed you, and he also plays as a centre-back and has 4.5-star potential ability. I wish I was joking, but that's how imaginative we've become now. We've literally got a centre-back who's got the same name as another centre-back. Imagine the confusion. We've also got this guy, and, well, he's 6 foot. He's not as good or as tall as the other guy that could play in this position, but he's very consistent and might be a feature in the first team. He's also 19. He's also 2-star kind of ability. He's also potentially better as a left back. Not sure about that one, but okay. I think if there's one area I'm not that concerned about, it is definitely the midfield area, and this is why. Look at how much potential we have in the DM position. Kawalski is the favourite. Honestly, he might be my favourite player because of what he does. Driven personality. He's already a player that's good enough for his division. He's got no strength, yes, but he's a deep line playmaker on defend. That's what I need him for. He's exciting to say the least. Midfield is also one of those players that I can play in a position almost identical in the fact he's a deep line playmaker, but just not as good as the last guy. So, yes, he is consistent as well. Doesn't have the different personality. Needs some work on a few areas, but honestly, he's not terrible, and we can definitely work on this guy. But this guy came through our youth intake last year and is already considered a promising midfielder, and given that Nebraska was considered the exact same thing and then became what he did, it's a good sign. Deep line playmaker on defend, could also be a centre-back, but he's 5'9", so probably will not be a centre-back. Because of how short he is, I'm probably going to play him as a deep line playmaker instead. Then we got Bolak, who is resilient. I love that because he's actually good at the role. And while he's inconsistent and needs work on a few other things, he's got potential to be really good as a deep line playmaker. So again, more options there. Darius is also another DM who could be in the first team long term, but not short term. It takes tempo. That's good. He needs a lot of work on the other attributes, but that's fine either way. Adrian, another player who could play in the role and could be a deep line playmaker. So, he's also already improving. He's a 3rd tier player. A lot of my players are very weak physically, but that's fine. We can work around that. And then we've got Polina, who is a deep line playmaker on midfield and DM. I'm playing as a DM. He's got a load of determination though, so again, we need to work on that. Now, midfield is very easy to talk about because we've got a lot of good players here. I'm probably only going to show you a handful of them, but good signs either way, right? Damien, he's our best midfielder, still our best midfielder, and is now 27, and is still very much showing why he's exciting. We play him as Mazzala more often than not, but can also play him as a box-to-box, so very exciting young talent. We also have Adam, who I generally think might become our best ever centre midfielder, even if he is inconsistent. He's 17, he's already really good, and he's played 65 times. He's not had the best average rating of all the time, but he's been useful when he has been playing, and that for me is important. Jan is also one of those players that I'm playing a lot, and he plays with Mazzala. He doesn't have big matches though, which is not ideal, and is probably not going to be any better than a decent top tier player, but he can still improve, and that's important for me. But then we got the likes of Majed as well come through, and the guy is just improving quite quickly. He isn't inconsistent though, and while he's not consistent either, can definitely become a very good player. He's exciting to say the least, and one of the very few physical players that actually is not physically weak, and it's very good indeed. We've also got Thomas Kawalski, who is actually still improving. I didn't think he would, but he can also play as an inverted winger. The guy is slowly but surely making himself important, and with his 16 stamina, could absolutely play a big factor in our games, and it's really good to say the least that he's still doing good things for us, and he's still improving. Drakowski, still really exciting. He's 18 now, could send him out alone, but he's also a good player to have around the first team, I think, if we have problems with injuries. But then we got this guy, and yes, Kamil Kawalski, again, exciting, can play the playmaker, can play out wide, can be further up forward, but also could be Mazzara, potentially, or box-to-box for the two roles we use here. He's really exciting, he's very consistent, and while he's 5'6", he's also only 17, and he's fairly ambitious, so I can see this guy getting better and better, I really could. So, right wings, we got one player that really talks to us, and it's Polak, who, while spirited, is very inconsistent, but has done good things in the past. The average rating of a 6.83 you would not think would come from a player who's got the deep-red inconsistency issues, but he's doing okay. He's a second-tier player. Could be better, though. He's got pace, though, and that really works in his favour, even if he's been asked to play as an inverted winger, but he could do that because he's very strong with his left foot as well, so good times. Who else we talked about can play on this side as an inverted winger, on support or attack, so decent there. Lizowski, more the other side, but can also play either side, really. Bukowski can definitely play as an inverted winger, and I will be using him at some point in the future. Just need to get his consistency up, his unambitious personality erased, and his determination up, because it's 22. It's not ideal, is it? On the left wings, we've got some good players as well, but the first we're going to talk about is easily going to be this guy, Nowak, who is upset with the fact I've actually fined him in the past, but he is playing quite well in this role and has been okay. The average rating was 6.97 despite being played out position potentially in the role is great, and it shows that he's definitely a good player. I'm hoping we can make sure he's good in the future. He's fairly sporty, so he's not got a terrible personality, but he could also be one of those players that just causes problems left, right, and centre, and is really good. Could also play as a striker, but I'm not going to force that on him. I just don't think his finishing is good enough for the role, and that's why I'm not playing as a striker. It's why I'm playing on the wings, despite the fact he's only got 6 crossing and 6 long shots. Then your pilot could play as inverted winger on support. He's got 4 crossing though. We have this striker who can play as inverted winger, but we probably want to play this guy as a striker, so Prin, definitely one of those players that we need to work on. We also got another winger in Daniel Novici, who's also got the issue of strong left foot, weak right foot, but playing inverted winger. We've also got Matthias, and just inverted winger on support. Dribbling's not great, but he's got pace. Thomas Rapper needs work, but could play in the role. Strikers, though, one man to talk about. He's been paid £55 a week right now, but has made it in NXGN, has got 2 years left in his current contract. Robert Kawalski. How long do you think we can keep hold of this guy? He's only got 9 finishing, but he's been a nuisance, absolute nuisance. 18 goals last year. Despite getting an average rating less than 7, he got 18 goals and 2 assists. He's driven personality. He is probably the dream striker at this point in time for me. Considering how young he is, he's got a cap in the under-21s. And, this is going to be an interesting situation for us to see how long we can keep hold of Robert Kawalski. How much would he want for a new contract is the question, because he signed it just 3 months ago. We'll have to find out after this. Jacob Suter might have just lost his spot in the first team now because of Kowalski's emergence, and he did his part. He absolutely did his part in the first 3 years, but the last 2 years have just, well, he lost his spot after that terrible season. Then Kowalski came on the scene, and, well, Kowalski coming on the scene has just told Suter that he's out of the team and may not find a way back in. I'm just saying it here and now. This guy's career at the club might be over already, which is a shame. But if Kowalski was to leave, we've got Dariusz Jasinski, who is good. And I'm excited about this guy. He's developing quite well as well. advanced forward. He's fairly professional. This guy will definitely be in the first team if Kawalski leaves us, and we've got a replacement in him. And we've already talked about Alexander Sobrin, but again, another striker we could work on and throw in the first team if we needed to. But that's the season preview. That's the team we're going to have to throw in the first team this year. And I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. I'm going to end this here. Hope you guys enjoy yourselves. Hope you guys like and share this video and that you subscribe to the channel. It really does help me a lot. Do you think we can get a top half finish again? And what do you think of our chance of keeping Robert Kawalski after his NXGN appearance last year? I want to hear your thoughts and opinions down below. But either way, until next time, goodbye and well, good night.